Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and Jason Schrier, we all know him, right? Well, he wrote a book. He's a reporter, journalist, I believe, as well as an author. He's covered a bunch of stuff, especially in the gaming industries. He's written a book called Play Nice, The Rise and Fall and Future of Blizzard Entertainment. And well, somebody on Reddit summarized it, but I didn't read the book. I can't read. I play Hearthstone. What are we talking about? But yeah, someone summarized it pretty well, at least the parts that they talked about Hearthstone, and it gave some insight on, you know, the direction of the game, how things have evolved from its beginning to now, the over monetization of it, the internal struggles between, yeah, dungeon run style stuff, where that just doesn't happen anymore. And yeah, it's certainly intentional, and it is certainly coming from those higher ups. So we're gonna take a look at that. If you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like. It helps us out a lot as we're on the road to 86,000 subscribers. I'll link the link to this book if you want to take a look. But yes, Evil Dave summarized this over on the Hearthstone subreddit. I believe he also summarizes the Vicious Syndicate podcast. Guy likes to summarize stuff. He does a very good job. And well, we'll take his word on the summary, because again, I'm not going to read. I play Hearthstone, but no, overall, I just haven't had a chance. It does look like a fascinating read. Hopefully we'll be able to get to it. But yes, it goes through a lot of stuff about Hearthstone, and I thought I'd go through some key points and just some insight on it. It's pretty, you know, sad. It's basically what you expect, though. But again, let's dive in. And it says, after working at QA on Warcraft 3 and WoW, Ben Brode, the original Hearthstone director and pioneer for the game, moved to the creative development department, where one of his first projects were Snap marketing. Well, Snap, already foreshadowing here. Screenshots of StarCraft Ghost. When that game was canceled, Brode pitched to have the multiplayer component released as a budget title on Xbox Live. However, Blizzard was not very good at jumping on opportunities they were marked. A year later, he started working on the WoW TCG, which a lot of the original Hearthstone cards and all that stuff are based on, where Blizzard had partnered with Upper Deck to create. Upper Deck director Corey Jones eventually moved over to Blizzard, where he pushed for the company to develop a digital version of the game. Several Blizzard execs were skeptical of the idea, but Rob Pardo thought it was a worthy experiment, leading to him to hire Hamilton Chu and Ray Gresco. I don't know why I'm overpronunciating, but I'm gonna try and spice things up. I don't know. To help develop a prototype. They were eventually pulled off the project to help lead Diablo 3, leaving Brode to beg his bosses not to cancel the project. Chu and Pardo thought about finding an outside studio to handle the game, but instead decided to build their own internal team, Team 5, capping it at 15 developers because they didn't want it to be a huge expense. Hearthstone started as a one-of-one copy of the WoW TCG, as I mentioned, and then it evolved into something completely different, in part due to how convoluted the rules were for the games. Basically, StarCraft 2 was delayed, and it ended up helping out Team 5 in the process, and many Blizzard executives have been eyeing Team 5 with skepticism. I still am. I think we all are these days, at least, but I guess for different reasons, asking why, especially with Bobby Kotick, everybody's favorite, let's just be happy he's gone, why they were bothering to make this little Magic the Gathering thing instead of putting those resources into World of Warcraft. After a couple of years of development, they put together a mage versus mage vertical slice of the game, and to show the rest to Blizzard, dubbed the Fire and Ice build. We got some Game of Thrones things going here. They brought in company executives and directors for a playtest. The following week, Rob Pardo joined their team meeting, which was unusual. At the team meeting, he stood up, congratulated the team, and told them Hearthstone had been greenlit. It happened. They made Hearthstone, but interesting to see, Kotick, of course, didn't see the benefit of it, didn't want to make it. It's just, again, is there anything good about that dude? I never hear anything good with it. Blizzard was unsure as a free-to-play game. They, how is it going to do? Is it going to make money? And I guess Dodds remarked, we'll make dozens of dollars. And by the end of the month, first month of Hearthstone, the game had 10 million registered users, and after a few years, would reach 100 million users, more players than any game Blizzard had ever had. So yeah, Kodak, you were wrong. Crazy. Who would have guessed, you know? The game would eventually generate hundreds of millions of dollars per year, and the game had been viewed as a little skunkworks project, and the company's lowest priority was close to cancellation several times. It became one of the company's biggest moneymakers, and it's still in that position today. Like, it's not as popular, but it's still kind of like a cash cow, and they still never prioritize it. If you have like Blizzard announcements or anything, they never mention Hearthstone, like, ever. It's got to be so frustrating. It has been like this basically since day one, even when they prove them wrong. Team 5 tripled in size in the months ahead, but according to some team members, this led to some of the magic of the game being lost. They went from creating content to churning content. Several members of Team 5 wanted to go and do something new, but Blizzard wouldn't let them. After Bobby Kotick, oh great, here we go again, demanded that Blizzard bring in an experienced CFO to squeeze more revenue out of Warcraft, and I just don't like this guy. And Diablo, Armin Zerza became Blizzard's first CFO in 2015. Morhaime and other Blizzard executives were skeptical, and yeah, a lot about squeezing dollars, all that good stuff. And of course, it does play into Hearthstone, where these finance people would become pivotal parts of Blizzard strategy meetings and would ask why Hearthstone wasn't pushing players to buy card packs more often. Basically, due to Hearthstone's success, every time Hearthstone exceeded revenue expectation, targets grew larger, and this forced Chu to spend more time in business meetings instead of working on the game. Because Blizzard didn't have any upcoming games after Overwatch, Hearthstone drew significantly more attention from Zerza and his finance team. There were multiple meetings about the game's monetization, with finance people pushing for more bundles. What do we see these days, right? What is out there more than anything now? It's bundles. More frequent sales. Well, we don't really get that. We get bundles, but not really sales. And a fourth expansion every year, which thankfully we have not had. And I've said for a long time, I feel like that could kill the game. Not only is it like a crunch on devs to, you know, they're already pretty struggling making the cards like enjoyable as is. It's a lot more expensive to play the game and keep up with it, right? So, and the team pushed back against this, arguing sales would dilute the value of card packs, and compared it to Kmart versus Costco. You feel good at Costco because it feels like they price everything fairly. They don't need to put specials on. But what about wild cards? They're crap. Put those on sale. But I understand the argument. This is the most interesting part to me. With Hearthstone released the well-received Dungeon Run mode in December of 2017. This mode led to endless battles for Team 5 against Activision executives, not players versus the dungeons, no, devs against executives, because the mode didn't bring in money or encourage players to buy packs, which I think is just so short-sighted. People coming in to play dungeon runs means people are coming into your client to play the game, which means they're more likely to stick around and play other stuff, buy packs. It's all about engagement, in my opinion. I think they do these weekly quests and all these other quests to get player engagement. Wouldn't you think that's a good thing? Around this time, Chu was getting calls from Jae Ong, an ex-Blizzard employee who is now head of gaming at Marvel. Chu went to Ben Brode, gauging his interest, who had also grown frustrated with changes at Blizzard. Brode would follow Chu anywhere, and spending his days developing games instead of sitting in meetings. The two began to discuss in secrecy about leaving Blizzard and coined a code phrase. If someone ever popped into a room and asked what they were doing or talking about, they had an explanation. The code word, said Brode, was Dungeon Run monetization. I guess it's that contentious, right? And they ended up kind of monetizing Dungeon Run with duels. That worked out well. Oh yeah, they deleted that. Chu and Brode left Blizzard in spring of 2018 around Witchwood. My jaws that bite, my claws that scratch. Brode's departure is noted as especially painful because he had become one of the public faces of Blizzard. Brian Schwab, an engineer on the original Hearthstone team, remarked, "When he left Blizzard, that's when I knew something was not right. He would have stayed on Hearthstone until the sun death of the universe. That's how much he bled Blizzard. Ironic is like the main reason he seems to have left, according to this book, is like the over monetization and the forced bundles and the lack of meaningful content. Single player, he went to Snap, which is literally just a gotcha machine, has way more monetization than a Hearthstone, like in every way. It's pure mobile style of stuff, right? Like, it's weird that that was his problem and he goes to Snap and does it even worse there. I would be fascinated to know what exactly is happening, because I don't know, seeing Brode and what he's done with Second Dinner and Marvel Snap, I don't buy this is the main reason, unless something just really changed over those few years when he's developing. Because again, if you're familiar with that game and its monetization and every scandal they've been involved in a short period of time, it makes Hearthstone look good. And that is crazy with how, like, what good has Hearthstone had lately? It's been pretty bad for quite some time in terms of public perception, especially this year. So really interesting. The last thing they went over, though, is like the Blitzchung incident. Like, that is a big deal when the pro Hearthstone player Blitzchung did the free Hong Kong thing, and they like suspended him for a year and basically stole his prize money. And the book confirmed after Blitzchung made his remarks after his Grandmaster's match about Hong Kong that Zeddy is the person responsible for Blitzchung's punishment of being banned from Grandmasters for a year and not receiving payment. The next few days were the most stressful for Blitzchung. He says he received a barrage of messages, and while they were mostly positive, it was overwhelming for him. The outrage over the Blitzchung incident led to a barrage of aggressive emails, calls, and death threats to Blizzard's public phone lines. Blizzard's top staff had to meet hours every day on how to handle the crisis, which was further exacerbated by Activision Blizzard execs and their lawyers also jumping into those discussions. Slow down the process, as every potential statement was written by rooms of lawyers and business people. This ultimately led to the J. Allen Brack non-apology, but somewhat backtrack statement. So you can see it makes a lot of sense with Blizzard, like how much meddling and like involvement the CFOs, these executives have had on the direction of the game. It's very clear. We've had like no solo content for years. Dungeon Run was super popular, but they just stopped it. And now we're at the point, yeah, more bundles, more portrait, more cosmetics than ever. We just don't have a fourth expansion. Outside of that, pretty much everything that they pushed those people out of the company and they've gotten their way. And it just feels, you know, kind of gross and kind of sad, and why the heart of Hearthstone, you know, those cosmetic boards that you can see why a financial suit would be like, why are we producing this board, spending money on it? We could just put out a bundle and hey, we put out that rag portrait instead. That bundle's for sale, and there you go. That's kind of the prophecy fulfilled after all. So again, nothing too startling, nothing too much of a revelation here, but I thought a pretty good insight. Again, thank you to Evil Dave for writing this up. I'll link both the summary and the book link in the description below. And yeah, stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow we'll have some stuff to talk about. We might have a later video tomorrow. Yeah, I would stay tuned. We're going to have a lot to talk about. There might be more than one video. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.